Welcome to one of the oldest cities in Poland. It's Poznań. Right, let's get started in Poznań. Now, I'm going to show you different things, not necessarily everything that the usual YouTube vloggers tell you. So let's start. Poznań is a bit of a logistics, a trading hub. And surrounding the city, like most cities, there was a wall. And you had to go from this direction all the way down through there to Wrocław. But this is the Waga, which is the tax spot where all of the traders would have to come in, they'd have to weigh their scales, and that's when Poznań gets their tax money. So a little bit different. This is a very, very important building for the city, and this is kind of the center where everyone would have to come through and visit. Very similar to a lot of other cities in Poland. The Rynek has lots of Renaissance, Baroque, Gothic style buildings, and a lot of them are very detailed with painting and artwork on, lots of sculptures that you can see at the top of the building. But what's always fascinating is that the buildings around the Rynek are normally were owned by rich people. So for example, this building here is the palace for Dziavinsky. So that is who owned it. So they are normally named after those people. And that name lives on today through the building name. Behind me is St. John of Nepomuc. Now, a lot of places near rivers will have this statue because he is the patron saint to protect against floods. Now, this city, like a lot of places, has suffered with floods over the years. The last proper one was in around 1920s. They've done a lot in the city to protect because there's not been a major one since, but it's quite poignant because obviously in southern Poland and parts of Czech and Austria, there are some serious floodings at the moment. So fortunately, they don't really need this guy anymore. They just need better protection. But here they've actually changed the course of the river and they protected it quite a lot. So as we are in Poland, there are a lot of churches and cathedral. It is very religious. So we've got to at least see one church, don't we? Now this is Fara Basilica. This was built in the 17th century for Saint Stanisław, whoever that guy was. Now this has some magnificent organ playing and some beautiful singing here. So let's go inside to check it out. This church is very grand indeed, but one of the main features I am loving is the Solomonic spiral columns. Now they originate from the Temple of Solomon in Judaism, but in Catholicism it represents the spiritual ascent to heaven, always looking up to heaven. But for me, as an atheist, I just think the architecture of it is impressive and they are actually really, really beautiful to look at. It's almost a marble effect with the gold leaf around it. Very, very beautiful. Now behind me over there is that organ that we were talking about. It is built in 1876 by the renowned organ builder Frederick Ladegast. Now amazingly, it has around 2,600 pipes. That's just mind-blowing. It gives a deep tone and people can hear it from all around. Apparently it is moving and it is very, very special to hear. Unfortunately, I'm not at the time to hear it, but let me know in the comments, what have you heard this? What does it mean to you? How does it make you feel? And while you're down there, obviously like and subscribe for more videos very similar to this. So as we said, how impressive this church is. It's lavish. There's gold everywhere. It is big, it's imposing. Now, if you think about it, this was the heart of a lot of cities that had Catholicism in there. But it had to be grand, it had to be lots of gold everywhere, because it had to show that the church is the most powerful thing. This is me talking now as an atheist, because look at it. Are you really going to oppose people that had this much power? Probably not. But it is impressive, and you have to appreciate the architecture at least. And when this was built, you've got to think, well, they didn't have the modern technology of getting up to the top of the roof and painting. A very dangerous job, I'm sure. Just very grand. Typical Catholicism. Lots of money, and wants to show that it's powerful. The next stop is the Ballerina School. Now, this was founded in 1951, and I've got some interesting things to tell you about this, because some of this was owned by the church and some of this was owned by the state. So from this stairway here, from that side was owned by the state, from this side was owned by the church, which obviously caused some conflict. But anyway, this ballerina school is well known around Poland, but also around the world. It is impressive, really bloody impressive, just the fact that ballerinas can do what they can do. But this is a well-rounded school where they teach all sorts, just ballet, no. They teach folk and other music forms as well. Very, very impressive indeed. Well, below me is the old remains of the old town. This is the pavement below me. Hang on, let me stand back up. Now, Poznań has just been through a very big renovation, but I would love to know, do you think Poznań now looks better after the renovation, or has the renovation taken a little bit of soul out of the city? Maybe there's not as much greenery anymore, maybe there's too much concrete and too much pavement. Let me know. But it's quite beautiful. They've tried having a little bit more modern architecture, fountains and water features that they quite often do in modern architecture. It's beautiful. The interesting thing is, I am going to introduce my guide now. You're joining me. Now, I said when I think of Poznań, I think of pink colours. All these walls that are pink.
Yeah.
You don't think that. You think of more the blue colours. Of the
colors
Poznań
of the city are really blue, but in fact you realized me that most of the buildings here are painted pink. I'm surprised, even though I'm passing there many times.
I said that each city has its own sort of colour and feel. Where Krakow, you've got the darker medieval style. You've got Wrocław with the pastel colours. Torun is the orangey colours.
The brick city.
The brick city. And Poznań, I think of the pink, because the photos you see are these pink colours. But to a local, you just walk past it and you don't necessarily notice these things, which is always what people find fascinating when I'm actually doing these vlogs, is I actually explore deeper and things that the locals don't necessarily see anymore because they're blind to it and they've got the blinkers on. So a little bit fascinating for you from what a local sees. Well, Poznań Rynek has got very, very busy all of a sudden because it is almost 12 noon. Now in Poznań, there is a bit of a legend, because in the town hall, when the clock had finished being built, there was a feast. The chef, unfortunately, burnt the roast. So he went out, stole 2 goats. The goats then ran off, went to the top above the clock and butted heads. So now, at 12 noon every day, goats will come out and butt heads. And clearly, lots of people have come to see it. The interesting thing is, when it was broken, it was actually manually done and people actually pushed the goats out. So we're going to see that in about 3 minutes' time. So the interesting thing, obviously, Poland, a lot of the cities have their figures. So you have Wrocław, have the gnomes, you have Warszawa has the sirena, you have Krakow with the dragon, Poznań has the goats. So I've got something really cool for you now. This behind me used to be a brewery. In 1844, it was founded by the Hugarów brothers, but no more is it a brewery because it is now a shopping centre. It was even voted the best shopping centre in the world, the medium category. Now it's kept in the same style as that original brewery with the red bricks, the ironworks, the big glass panelled windows, and it wants to fuse modern without overshadowing the historical background that it had. Now I'm going to go in there, we're going to check out, it's meant to be very, very cool. I'm not going to do any shopping yet, that'll be later off screen, but let's check out how cool this shopping centre is, the best in the world. Well, I hope you'll agree that this shopping centre is pretty unique. The beautiful colours, those brick colours with the metal that you have here. And it's almost like every little detail has been thought out. You'll see, even like the columns here, every little detail has something special. It's all unique. It's not mass-produced materials. It's all specifically made for here. But even the big metal structure there's no real meaning to it. But it fits in perfectly. It blends in so well. And I will be doing lots of shopping in here, at least later anyway. See if I can find Charlie a nice gift. Maybe. Depends how expensive it is, but Charlie does have expensive taste. I'm currently standing in Plac Wolności, which in English is Freedom Square. Now, what I think about this is it sums up how Poland as a country and geography-wise has shifted so much over the years because it's been under occupation by the Germans, Prussians, which they used to be, the Russians. Now here, this was originally Polish, then it was Prussian control, then it went back to Polish, then the Nazis came in, and then back to Polish, and it's had some different names. So hang on a second, I'm going to tell you the name. So originally, when this was under Prussian occupation, this was Wilhelmsplatz, and that was named after Frederick Wilhelm III, the King of Prussia. Then it obviously back to Poland. Then it became Adolf Hitler Platz. Not many people would know that. And then obviously now Plac Wolności, Freedom Square. Now obviously this is a bit of a social hub, meeting place. As you can see, you've got a nice fountain, you've got busker over there. But actually there's so many people, there's benches all the way around the outside. And as you can see, so many people are just sitting, relaxing, having a hot dog from Żabka. And I'm not lying, it's over there. People are having Żabka hot dogs. But this is a really nice little meeting area, and it just sums up how Poland has shifted, which I always think is weird because being from the UK, we haven't really shifted in such a long time, and obviously it helps we're an island, but even when you look at other countries, Poland seems to have moved about so much.
You could lie, but lying only buys you so much time. You could hurt, but hurting's never gonna make it fine. You could shake.
So welcome to Ostrów Tumski, which is the cathedral island. Now, this is owned by the church, and it's very similar to Wrocław, in which it's outside of the city and it's not run by the state. Now, Poznań is seen as one of the cradles of Poland because in 966 AD, this is when Christianity swept across and Mieszko I was a part of creating what we know as the Polish state. Behind me, there is a church, and this was from the 15th century. However, when they were in the basement, the cellar, they actually found one of the oldest churches in Poland, if not the oldest. And you can see here the original foundations. This isn't the original foundations, this is sort of a glass artwork. But this is the original one from the 10th century when this island was originally formed.
You're shutting someone up that knows you well, tear you apart, pull you from the end back to the start. I don't care what you do, but here's a tip from me to you. Look your failures in the eye, only way to say goodbye. Once you lift them from your heart, you could have a brand new start, it's true. Your life could smile to you.
Dla mnie zraz wolowy z pyzami. Proszę.
Dobrze, oczywiście.
Żurek. Żurek. Sydre jabłkowe? Tak. No, dziękuję.
Dziękuję bardzo.
That's me.
That was great.
Yeah, I can do it. So it's dinner time, an early dinner, and we've come to Hitchka. This is proper Poznanian food. Now, first of all, cider. I've got to have some cider. I've just got some Hitchka liquor, which is basically converts into English as elderberry. But Hitchka is Poznan language, not necessarily Polish. So, yeah, you may not understand that. So let's try the liquor first. Do I drink it all in one, do you think? All in one? Or sip?
Whatever you prefer.
What do you think? Okay, let's sip it. That's nice. That's juicy. That's really juicy.
Czarny bez.
Okay.
Czarny bez in
Czarny
Polish.
bez in Polish. There you go for the viewers. That's really juicy and fruity and flowery at the same time. I'm trying to think what it's quite peachy. Quite a peachy flavour to kind of, for you as an audience to have a kind of a similarity. But that is really nice. Warming. It's warming. Oh, that's warming.
40%.
Jesus, about 40%.
I know, we'll ask
Okay,
them.
so we've got food coming, and the food is going to be what would be quite typical Poznan food that you wouldn't. Would you necessarily get it in the rest of Poland?
Pyzy. Pyzy is very
Pyzy?
rare, I think. Okay, pyzy are known.
Hang on.
Cześć everybody.
This is Paweł.
We will now eat. Teraz będziemy jedli poznańskie pyzy. To jest coś zupełnie innego niż wy znacie. Pewnie w pewnych częściach Polski nazywa się to kluchy na parze, pampuchy, ale tu w Poznaniu nazywamy to pyzy. We call it pyzy in Poznań, and if you want to eat it in a restaurant, you have to call it like that. I know that in the other parts of Poland, the names are different.
But we're not in those parts of Poland. We're
Exactly.
in Poznan. So, as the Poznanian
Poznanians
do, we're going to try it. Now, we're going to see.
With both, some of them are stronger, weaker.
First course is up. The starter, it is żurek, which is the fermented rye soup. Now, this is the third time having it, but like with a lot of Polish dishes, it's all different depending on what restaurant you have it, which grandma makes it, which babcia makes it. So it's always different. So this żurek will probably be different to the other two that I've tried already in Wrocław. So fermented rye, this has got the egg in it as well. There's sour cream on top with then bacon, white sausage as well. So let's give it a try. Okay, let's see how we go. It's quite thick. Yeah, it's quite thick. Yeah, it's quite thick, which differs to the żurek I had in Pierogania, but it's okay. It's quite not fragrant, but it's quite musky. That's really good. You're getting the meat that's coming through, so you're getting the bacon and the sausage. Even if you're not actually eating a piece of bacon and sausage, you are getting that flavour coming through. So it's clearly been in the soup for a long time. I will finish this. No problem at all. We were just saying that actually there's food that I'm filming and I can pretend to you that I like. Actually, I don't need to pretend because this is quite good. Yeah, very good.
I'm very glad to hear.
Yeah, very good indeed. So I'm going to finish this off and then I'm nervous for my main course, but we'll see how it turns out. The main meal has arrived. I've gone for, I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically beef and dumplings. But in Polish, go on, tell us what it is.
We call it in Poznań pyzy.
Pizza,
Pyzy. Modra kapusta,
red cabbage.
yes, and rolady,
Okay,
which is rolady.
roulade.
Rolady.
Roulade? Okay, so let's give it a try. So the dumplings, that is simply a case of putting it into the sauce. Is that just a bread? Is it like a bread dumpling? Because there's different forms
Very
of
close,
dumplings,
but
isn't there?
This is prepared on steam.
So like a steam. Okay, yeah, all right. So it's a bit like a Chinese dim sum type steamed bun.
Don't know. maybe
Okay,
it's
all right.
like-
Let's give it a try.
like-
So dunked in the sauce.
like it? Kind of good.
The dumpling is basically like a bread roll, but without the crusty outside, and it's obviously the steamed fresh bread in the middle, which is always the best bit, right? Picking it. Anyway, the sauce is just a beefy. The sauce is very typical of what we would have in the UK. It's just it's like a, well, it's a roulade, isn't it? I suppose. So it's typical of what we have. I was quite scared about it actually, but that is just basically the inside of a bread roll that's kind of steamed, very Asian style as well, without the Asian flavours. Okay, let's try. So what's in this?
Oh, I didn't ask her. But maybe
We didn't
I
ask you. Okay, I'll try and work it out. So it's basically the beef that's rolled, isn't it? So it's sliced beef that's rolled. It's like having a Sunday roast. You don't necessarily know what a Sunday roast is. If you're not from the UK, a Sunday roast is basically maybe roast beef and it's sliced. That is exactly that with a bit of filling. I think there's bacon in it as well. I assume that's cabbage. Maybe cabbage.
Maybe cucumber, maybe also mushrooms, but I have to taste it. Or we may ask the lady.
Odgorki.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm amazed. I was really worried. So, I was really worried when I ordered this because I've not had it before. But actually what you find is, it is very similar to a hearty winter's night English meal, but just presented in a slightly different way. That's really good. And what you think is, this sort of meal would be a typical Polish, typical Poznanian meal, because during the winters when this is freezing cold here, it's this warming, hearty meal that gets you through the rest of the day or through the evening. But this is incredible. Honestly, I was really worried, but this is definitely a winner. I will take that. I'm going to finish this and I will speak to you after. I am done. I feel huge. I only left a tiny little bit, I will admit, but it was delicious. But it was so filling. And that's why I think there's a real link between English food and some Polish food, that, you know, the cold winters and it's hearty and filling. And that's exactly what I just had. And I feel huge. I tried eating as much as I could because it was delicious. So if you are in Poznań, especially if you're not Polish, because I don't think many English people would come here. They wouldn't probably understand the food maybe, but come to Hitchka, which is elderberry basically. Come here and give it a try. They also were very kind to give me a couple of bottles of juice as well, which is made with Ichka. So that's very nice of them. So come here and check it out. Well, that is the end of day one in Poznan. I'm treating myself to a nice Kinder Egg ice cream. It is very good. After that food, I don't know how this is going in, but you do have a second stomach for dessert, so it's all good. First of all, thank you, Pavel. Pavel, show me around lots of different places. He's very happy I like the food, at least, so, you know, that's him happy. This is a beautiful place. It's a very beautiful city. I've still got more to explore in the next episode. And then hopefully in the third episode, we'll be going to Lech Poznan Stadium as well, because I do love checking out stadiums. You've got to come. You've got to come here. It's a wonderful city, but there is so much more for me to explore, and I've only just touched the tip of the iceberg. As always, please do like and subscribe. Go check out all the other videos from Poland, and that includes Wrocław, Warszawa, Gdansk, Kraków, and all the other places as well. Check them out. And as always, I will catch you next time.